Thought Bubble Audio.
Look, up in the sky!
You will never find the more wretched hive of scum and villainy.
Welcome to Beer with Geeks with Tim and Frank.
Who are you?
I'm Batman.
I am Iron Man.
Your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man.
Hi, Christopher. I'm Nero.
My name is Inigo Montoya.
You're a wizard, Harry.
A couple of guys with a couple of beers and a whole lot of pop culture nostalgia.
Make it so, number one.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Beatles.
I named the dog Indiana.
Life finds a way.
I am serious. And don't call me Shirley.
Now sit back and crack open a cold one, because it's time for Beer with Geeks.
It comes in paints.
Shaken, not stirred.
Great Scott!
I was way off. I knew it started with an S, though.
Hi, and welcome to Beer with Geeks, where two geeks geek out with beer. I'm Tim, and with me, as always, is my friend who hates. In fact, he can't even do it. Take off his mask. Frank, how are you today?
I was like, what do I hate that much? Wow. Hi, bud. Yeah, no, you'll never see my face.
I could, if we were talking about Hook, I would have gone, hate Peter Pan. But we're not talking about Hook, so
No, we
that
are
would have been a wasted reference. But if we ever do, we're going back to that. Gonna remember.
We've done Hook, right? We had to have done
Pretty
Hook.
sure we haven't.
Really?
Pretty sure. Nope.
Gonna
Nope.
add that to the pile of topics.
Best Spielberg movie of all time? Staking my claim
Whoa.
on it? No.
Oh. Whoa, coming in
it's-
hot in 2020. All right.
Yeah, no, it's not. It's not. Oh my God, Frank, is this our first episode of the Roaring Twenties?
No.
Wait, okay, it's not.
We have yeah. Well, it's the first one we're recording in the Roaring 20s, I guess, but
That counts. Doing it.
Yeah, we'll go with that.
Yeah,
But no,
Roaring 20s.
Roaring 20s. What? Yeah, I see that you're wearing your three-piece suit and you're
not-
drinking bootleg liquor and everything else. No, we talked
That
about
is-
Doomsday Clock was our first episode of 2020.
Oh, yeah,
But-
okay.
But this is our first time recording in 2020, so.
Oh, that's very exciting. Here's the thing. Not enough people are wearing fedoras yet. It's 2020. Where are the fedoras?
You know what? We need fedoras. We need wider ties. Wider
Yes.
neckties.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Yep.
what we need.
If
That's the only
fedoras
way.
don't make a comeback in the new 20s, I'm going to be upset.
Okay. Well, don't make them upset,
wearing
friends.
hats. Men wearing hats.
Men
Bring it
wearing
back.
hats. I think it's the classy thing to do.
I think so, too. I mean,
Yeah.
not everybody even has to worry about smushing up their hair if that's what you're worried about.
I don't have to worry about that, so yeah.
Frank doesn't have to worry about that at all.
I'm free and clear.
Exactly. It's not like he wears a beard hat, It's not a... No.
Those won't be popular till the 2040s, at least.
2040s, where everything is reversed because it's 20 years after the Roaring
Beard
20s.
hats. We wear hats in our beards, ironically. This took a weird turn.
Yeah.
And we're never going to take them off because this is the way.
Oh, goodness.
Oh,
Frank,
boy.
what are you drinking? I hope you haven't had a lot of it.
Not yet, but I'm about to. I am enjoying a St. Bernardus Abbey Ale. It's one of my very favorite. It's a Belgian ale brewed by monks, Trappists, as all the best beers are. Absolutely, it's the one you've probably seen it if you have like a liquor store that has a good international selection of beers. But it's the one with the smiling monk on it. And it is just about the finest beer I think you can find. It's way up there in my book.
Wow, it's really that high on your list, really.
I love it. Yep, St. Bernardus ABT 12.
Wow.
Yeah, fine. If you see it, buy it. It's great.
Wow, that's solid. Good for you. Good on you, Frank. That's a good one. I am drinking an American classic. In fact, it's America's oldest brew, the Yuengling traditional lager.
Classic indeed.
A classic. I think I had it recently.
Yes,
Don't remember
I think
when.
I believe you did.
Yeah, well, they're in my fridge. So, you know what?
There you go.
Y'all can deal.
Yeah,
I
man.
got more seasonal ones coming up, baby.
Love it.
But not right now. But, man, it is good. I know it's like not a big deal for everybody who's had it for literally hundreds of years. But, we haven't up here. And it's delicious.
I know. I do love it. I really, really do.
What is a Yuengling, Frank?
It's a little Yingle, of course.
Oh, of course.
It's just
Yeah.
it's a Yingle, but smaller.
Anakin. You've been
You killed Yuenglings?
You killed Yuenglings.
Oh man, that shouldn't be as amusing as it is.
No, it is though. It's good.
It is, though.
It is. You know what actually didn't have really a right to be as amusing as it was? The Mandalorian, Frank. Like what a time that was.
Okay. So what were your expectations set at? Like at what level were you expecting this show? Like I was at like a 6. I was
6, yeah, 6 out of 70. Yeah, no.
I was at like it'll be okay. It'll be good. I'm sure it'll be good. Like, it's Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau. It can't be bad, but it'll be okay.
Yeah, 6 out of 10. I was pretty like excited for everything that I saw, but here's the thing. I have this thing in my brain that says you don't care about Star Wars unless it involves the Jedi.
Oh, okay. So
And-
that was kind of your hang up going into it.
Sort of, but that's actually not true because I enjoy all of Star Wars, like literally all of it.
But
Some
you
of my
think you only like it when there's Jedi involved.
exactly. I think I only like it when Jedi is involved, and the Rogue One proved me wrong.
Sure.
Solo proved me wrong. You know, arguably other things in Star Wars proved me wrong. Star Wars Pod Racing, the game for PS1, proved me wrong.
Oh man, that game. Whew.
That game was the best.
Great game.
So fun. So it's a hang up I don't actually have, but I continue to think I have it.
Yeah.
And I applied that into The Mandalorian, and I was so glad that I was wrong.
I did not think I was going to really love a show that was just about a bounty hunter. I just couldn't really see how, because I don't care about the bounty hunters that much. I'm not. I've never been that captivated by that piece of lore. I've never been that captivated by Boba Fett. You know, like,
Never
I've
have
always
I
sort of felt
been
like,
captivated.
Guys, Boba Fett like maybe looked cool, and maybe the original trilogy generation was really excited about him because he looked cool, and they were like excited for him to be in these movies, and then like he kind of didn't do much. Like I've always just sort of felt like Boba Fett's cool, but like to a point.
Who was who looking cool but does nothing character of the prequel trilogy? Is it Dexter Jetster?
Dexter,
Is he the equivalent of Boba Fett?
He wasn't hyped in the same way though. Like there was no big hype around.
You mean the guy from the diner, the alien from the diner?
Yeah, that's Dexter. I don't think Boba Fett was
he was not hyped the same
in advance, and I don't feel like that really happened with Dexter. Like no.
I'm just kidding. You're taking that question very seriously.
Sorry, I thought you were being serious.
Joke.
No, but there is one
Dexter
for the
Jetster wasn't the anyway.
There is one for the sequel trilogy though. Do you remember before the
Captain Phasma?
Oh, you know what? Oh, that's actually a much better answer than what I was thinking. Yes.
Oh, what were you going to say?
Yes, I was thinking something way more obscure. But Captain Phasma is actually the correct answer. So I will absolutely sign up to that.
Oh, but now I want to know your like.
My answer was going to be before The Force Awakens came out. One of the toys that was put out there was Constable Zuvio. And
what?
It was like they had a Luke Skywalker figure, they had a Phasma figure, they had all these figures, no Rey, and then Constable Zuvio. And everyone was like, well, I guess this Constable Zuvio guy is going to be a big deal. He's in the background of a scene.
Constable. Oh yeah. Yeah, you can get toys of him and everything.
You can still get them because they sold so poorly. They're still swinging from the pegs at your local Walmart.
Honestly, just saw one the other day, and by the other day I mean like yesterday.
Yeah,
I was and I was like,
Hasbro.
I looked at it and said, I don't know who this is.
Hasbro made way too many of them, and they didn't make a Rey figure. Do you remember that? There was a whole like hashtag Where's Rey?
Yep.
Because they thought for some reason no one was going to want the girl, even though she was the main character of the film. They were like, she's a girl. No one was going to want Star Wars is for boys.
Listen, you're talking to the guy that owns an Admiral Piet action figure.
Wow.
And I know he's super cool. He's got a little hat and it comes off and it's awesome. Thank you, Lord Vader.
Man.
But yeah, I'm not getting Constable whatever the heck is Zuvio.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, Constable Zuvio.
Oh my gosh.
Yep.
Coincidentally, the Rey figure, her face, terrible because they rushed it. Like the original Rey figure on Force Awakens, terrible, no good. But
bummer.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah, that's a good one. Actually, that's a really good one. That's almost like hyping up like Bib Fortuna or
Yes.
or something like that. Even he has more to do.
But you're right though that Phasma is definitely more of the Boba Fett. Like super hyped up, looked super cool, and then they did just kind of didn't really know what to do with him.
I really don't think there is a character like that there's not really a character like that in the prequels, because
Not so much.
you could argue it's Maul, but it's not, because he's effective and does something.
Right.
And then he has lingered in the, afterwards. You could argue it's Jango Fett, but he does something.
Yeah.
And then
I don't really know that the prequels really had that. I mean, maybe there's a Hasbro toy that was like overblown like this, like Zuvio, but not that I remember. Not that I remember being
Zuvio.
Zuvio.
Yeah.
There's a toy been on my mind all the time. Zuvio. All right. Anyway,
that song didn't exist, and that's why Hasbro didn't sell those toys.
That's why.
You
They
need
should
to
have gotten
change-
Phil Collins
you need to
do the
change
studio,
companies.
But
Mhm.
there you go. Anyway, Mandalorian did not have this problem. It's the opposite. I thought it was going to be okay. I was prepared to be like whelmed, and it was. I thought it'd be like a 6. It's like a solid 9.
Mm-hmm. I would. Yes, I think sometimes we'll talk about it, but I think sometimes its flaws are so minuscule that it bumps it from an 8 to a 9. Not quite perfect, because there are no Jedi, but no, I'm just kidding. We'll talk about it. So anyway, I think it entranced me because it leaned into Star Wars Western roots.
Yeah.
Right, like hardcore lean into them. And I'm not really a huge Western guy. Like, it has to be the right mix of story and charisma, I guess, to really interest me. And Mandalorian is that kind of exact blend that I want. He's the lone gunman. He's the outsider. It's like he never takes off his hat, or like the Lone Ranger. He never takes off his mask. Or I think is it the Lone Ranger never takes off his mask?
Yes.
Right? Yep. So it's like, that style, but then he's like, gotta protect the kid, and hop from town to town, having adventures, but also it really, really works, and it crafts some memorable characters, which is impressive for how much screen time many of them have.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, there is a good stable of characters on this show. I mean, obviously, chiefly Mando himself and Baby Yoda, but like there is a stable of really solid characters throughout this show, and I'm like really, really deeply impressed by it. Like I really did not, but like you got Grief Karga, who's like becomes a much more important character than I think we thought he would be throughout the Carl Weathers character. Ends up being a very important character.
I met Carl Weathers a couple years ago.
Did you really? That's cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he was at a convention. He is super nice. Like, if you think he's cool and nice, he's cool and nice.
Nice.
It was kind of like meeting, I don't know, somebody cool and nice that we met.
Billy D.
Billy D was cool and nice. He was just he was nice and grateful, and you like want to be him. And Carl Weathers was kind of like that.
Nice. Oh, that's awesome. I love hearing that. I love to know that.
I like that. But I mean, like Carl Weathers or his character is a great example of that. Werner Herzog,
the client.
I want a whole show about him. He was great.
Right?
He was so entrancing, and I'm like, oh, no wonder I like your documentaries.
I know.
And that's just your voice.
He was captivating and sinister, and
sinister.
He was good.
I know. And what's kind of a bummer about it is that, spoilers for all of the Mandalorian, and stuff. But so he dies, right? Which is cool and stuff, I guess. But I'm like, man, I really wanted more Werner Herzog. Herzog.
I know. I was bummed for exactly that reason. I wanted more of him, and that was clearly the end. I mean, unless we go to like flashbacks or something, we're probably not getting any more of him. I mean, that's probably all the time he was willing to give or able to give anyway, because he's kind of high profile, But I'm I loved that character, and they left me wanting more, which is kind of where you want to be left.
Right. Yeah. You don't want to overstay your welcome.
Exactly.
You want to head out into the sunset or into the cantina or whatever.
The twin sunset.
Right. And I feel that way about a lot, like IG-11. I felt that way. I got just the right amount of IG-11. I am an asteroid. I don't know what you're talking about. That
was good.
It was cool. I didn't really consider this. So you see IG-88 in Empire Strikes Back, and you see him with like Bosk and like all these different Boba Fett, all these different bounty hunters, and you never really consider how the droid would fight, like what that would look like, and why that skinny little thing would matter. But this rotation thing it had going on was so cool. So cool. So fun. So fun. Tons of nods to Star Wars, like random Star Wars over across the Mandalorian, right? Because like even so, Mando's gun, his like big magnet looking gun, was the same gun that Boba Fett carries in the Droids TV show, which is fun. But then also it disintegrates people, and so when I feel like that's like when Vader turns to Boba Fett, he's like, no disintegration.
Oh, wow. That just clicked for me. Oh, wow. Yeah, that's great.
That's real fun.
Oh, that's so cool. Yeah. I mean, this had so much like a sense of like high adventure and at times whimsy, and at time, you mentioned that it has the sort of frontier western aspect to it, but it also had plenty of like Akira Kurosawa references, influences.
Mm-hmm.
There was that whole episode where he taught the village how to fight, and they fought the AT-ST, which was, by the way, the first time an AT-ST looked actually scary and menacing. The red eyes, man.
I agree.
Oh.
That was Bryce Dallas Howard's
yes, she directed that episode.
She's responsible for Baby Yoda sipping, like she's responsible for that.
Yes, you're absolutely right. She is. Oh,
that's her. That's her episode. Yeah,
good on her.
Yep.
But what I was going to say about that episode is that's a direct adaptation of The Hidden Fortress. Like that's the story. That's the plot of The Hidden Fortress.
It is.
Right?
I'm an idiot.
Isn't that cool though? Like they did an adaptation of it, like which is obviously a big influence on George Lucas in doing A New Hope.
Yep, Seven Samurai, Hidden Fortress, like those are the movies.
Right.
Yeah. Wow. That's great.
Right.
See, now here's the thing. Does Mando work as just a show for non-fans? I mean, like we're fans, so we can be like, yeah, it's freaking great. Like it was built for me.
Non-fans, I mean, maybe like non-hardcore fans, casual fans. Like you have to have seen some of the movies, I think, for it to matter to you.
Yeah.
Some of the movies, at least, right? I mean, maybe you don't need to have dissected them the way we have, but I think you need to have seen them at least casually and to understand and care and be bought into that world.
I think you have to have a working understanding of the Empire, at least.
The Empire, yeah. Just sort of basic broad strokes.
Yeah,
I think if you've seen the original trilogy once, you're probably good.
Yep. Yes, I think you could do it without the prequels, but prequels certainly add a layer because of Mando's backstory.
Yes.
Village is taken out by battle droids.
Yeah.
And and that's paralleled nicely with Baby Yoda, which is really nice. Like the Mandalorian save him, so the Mandalorian saves the baby. There's like, I think that's the show. The show in a weird way almost like pretends it's not deep because it's like, hey, it's Star Wars, but there's a lot happening all the time.
There's a lot happening on multiple levels, and that I guess it was the finale where they showed the parallels of they basically showed us what Mando's backstory was, how he became a foundling and all of that. And they actually, they've been showing us glimpses throughout the season, but in that final episode, they finally showed it to us, and it became crystal clear, if it wasn't already, that he's paying forward what happened to him. He's paying it forward to Baby Yoda,
which is a nice message.
Such a cool message, yeah, and such beautiful execution. Like there was no dialogue as they showed us that. Like it was just you just watched it happen sort of silently, and It was fantastic. Like there are and so I feel like that's going to give it more rewatch value going back and seeing how he. I mean, even like the shot of him like sticking out his finger to Baby Yoda at the end of the first episode is mirrored in that finale.
You're right.
There's lots of little moments like that. So I think there's going to be a lot of things that will, have just more resonance when you watch it a second and third time through, which I kind of hope to do before it comes back.
My wife was uninterested in watching it. She's like, if it's not the main movies, I don't care.
Sure.
Like, kind of Star Wars fan. And so I said, yeah, that's fine. I'll watch it on my own. So, not a big deal.
Sure.
And I did. And through the entire course of the show, everyone we ran into was like, do you guys watch The Mandalorian? Do you watch The Mandalorian? Do you watch The Mandalorian? Do you watch The Mandalorian? And I was like, yes. And so I would talk about it with these people, and like she wouldn't because she doesn't watch it. And so one day she was like, I think we should watch The Mandalorian. I was like, yes. Peer pressure. I didn't even involve me. It's just a Baby Yoda. Everyone, like the world, talking about Baby Yoda, and everyone like just like, do you watch it? Do you watch it? Do you watch it? I was like, yes, cultural zeitgeist. Let's watch it. So I hope to rewatch it soon.
That's great. That's great. Love that. I love that. Yeah. I could not say enough good things about this show, like all the way through. I think that it captures what makes Star Wars special in a way that I think the films have at times struggled to do. I think in a way that Rogue One did really nicely, actually. It just, there are certain intangibles, and it's sort of that mix of like Eastern and Western influences of there's a little bit of cowboy, there's a little bit of fantasy, there's a little bit of sci-fi, obviously, there's a little bit of all these things, but it's like there's a secret sauce, there's a special blend of these 12 herbs and spices that makes it just right. You gotta get the proportions just right, and I think Dave Filoni knows the recipe.
I agree.
And I think Jon Favreau absolutely is a driving force. I mean, he's the showrunner.
He's the showrunner. Right.
But I think that Dave Filoni is such an important ingredient in all of this, like because he sat at the knee of Lucas for so long in creating the Clone Wars. And I think he has an understanding like probably no one else does other than George himself as to what makes Star Wars tick.
I agree, because if you stack up these episodes, Filoni's are probably the best if you're looking for what makes Star Wars. And I think Deborah Chow's are the next right after that.
Yes.
She gets Star Wars. I think I might have even enjoyed her episodes more than Filoni's. And that's saying
the
something.
ones she directed. Yeah, I think I'm going to agree with you on that. I think so too. I think that his behind-the-scenes influence can't be overlooked, but I agree with you. I think Deborah Chow's episodes she directed were fantastic, which bodes so well for the Obi-Wan series that she's going to be showrunning.
Yes, exactly, which was the point I wanted to get to. So I'm glad that you mentioned it. Moving forward in Mandalorian, we're in the season 2. We're hopping around planets like, Mando holding up Baby Yoda to different alien species that are green and being like, you guys? No. Okay. Get back in the show. You guys?
No. Okay.
No. Gamora? No. No. Because Favreau tweeted out that maquette of like the super trim Gamorrean. Did you see that?
Oh, yes,
Gamorrean,
I did.
Like the pig alien,
week, right?
the guard. Yeah. Last one a couple weeks ago. I have no idea.
Yeah. I'll put that in the show notes.
Yeah, and like normal people are like, "Why? I don't understand." But I'm like, he's super muscular. That's new. I don't know. Like that's Star Wars, baby. Take the old and give me something new. And I'm excited to see what's coming. I liked that we saw Pedro Pascal's face in the final episode. I honestly was dreading that moment. I was like, no, it's gonna kind of ruin the fun mystique of not seeing him. Like it's almost like Judge Dredd that way. Like he never takes off the helmet.
Oh yeah.
But I adore Pedro Pascal. He's a wonderful actor, and I think that moment really worked in humanizing him because he's lying there dying and all this different stuff, and maybe in that moment maybe we should get to know the man and not the DeLorean. So yeah, that was a big old long setup for that joke.
I don't know how. No, I haven't heard that yet. How has nobody made that joke yet?
I don't know.
Man. I don't know.
Oh no!
Oh goodness. Whew. But yeah, I did like seeing. I liked. I liked that they had him take off the helmet and the way they did it, right? Because IG-11's not a person, so it's fine to take it off. Also, though, I'm also like, it's like your doctor, man. Like, take your helmet. Like, we take our clothes off in front of our doctors and don't think twice about it. Like, just come on.
Yeah, but we don't have a code that says never take off your clothes.
I guess.
In front of, well, I guess maybe we have an unwritten code that says never take off your clothes in front of people.
Yeah.
But even then that would say like extend to like your
just
wife,
a medical
or your husband,
exception.
or,
a medical exception is seems reasonable to me. But that's, I guess, how far the code goes and how devoted they are to it. That they're like, nope, even under penalty of death, do never take off the mask.
That's the code. The code.
This is the way.
So a couple of questions because we're kind of nearing the end of our episode run here. So I have several questions. One, how do you feel about Gina's character? Can't remember her
Gina
name.
Carano's character?
Yeah.
I really like that character. Actually, she grew on... Cara Dune.
Cara, thank you. Cara Dune.
She grew on me, because at first I was sort of like, okay, like I didn't know if she would be sticking around or whatever, so I just sort of thought of her as sort of generic, tough, former warrior, former trooper. And she really grew on me, and I really, really came to like her a lot.
Same.
And I love having her like on the team, on Mando's team.
Yep, I agree. It like formed a team. That was what this basically that was he's like a loner, but he's got a team. He's Batman.
Right.
I think she was a rebel, wasn't she? Yeah,
Rebel
she was a
trooper.
rebel. Yeah, she was a shock trooper. I really dug her character. Okay, good. Second question then. I know you hate these questions, but I'm going to ask anyway. Favorite side character, I guess, out of all the favorite side hero character. I'll break it that into I'll do villains after. That.
Side hero character, probably Queel, the Nick Nolte Ugnaught character.
I have spoken.
Yeah, I mean, Baby Yoda is actually, he's my favorite side character, but like I assume that he's off the table. So yes.
I wasn't counting Baby Yoda
yeah.
or just Baby Yoda, I guess.
Yeah. I would say Queel was a really, really good character. There are a lot to choose from. There were a lot of guest stars who were fantastic. There was Bill Burr. There was Clancy Brown, Ming-Na Wen from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., Amy Sedaris. Like, there were so many great folks throughout the show. I love that Taika Waititi was the voice of IG-11, as well as having directed one or two episodes.
He directed. I know he definitely directed the finale.
Yeah, and maybe one other, or maybe not. But
not
he
positive.
directed at least the one, which is super cool. Yeah, I love that he was involved. I love anything that he does, pretty much. So many great people. I love Matt Lanter got a small role.
Yes,
that was super
great.
fun. Anakin
Voice
from
of
the Clone
Anakin.
Wars.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then like I love I guess it was in the finale, right? The two stormtroopers who were
Jason Sudeikis and
the guy from
the Scout
Mini
Troopers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Adam Pally from
That's right.
Mini Project. Yeah, I love that.
I was actually thinking about that scene today, just randomly, like the scene of them trying to shoot the can. That's like 10 feet
and
from
not
them.
being able to shoot. Yeah, because there's stormtroopers and they suck.
So funny.
Good. So funny. Did you know in the pilot? Do you remember that there was that like blue guy that Mando had on board his ship as a bounty?
Yes.
Voiced by Horatio Sands.
No, really?
Yeah, Horatio Sands.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
Horatio Sands brought Life Day into canon.
Yes. Yeah.
That's awesome. I
Yeah.
love that. Okay, so next question. Favorite bad guy, I guess. Because that was like, I asked for favorite good guy. So who's your favorite bad guy?
Moff Gideon.
Yeah, you think he left an impression, huh?
Left such an impression because I love Breaking Bad. And he was
sure.
like one of the big bad guys in Breaking Bad. So I was already excited that Giancarlo Esposito was on the show. And I knew he was going to be, and I'd heard about it, and then I kind of forgot about it. Mm-hmm. So when he showed up, I was like, oh, right, he was supposed to be in this, and I was like, I had forgot that I was waiting for him, if that makes sense.
Yes, makes perfect sense.
And so I was like still delighted to see him, and what a menacing villain, and what a great way to end things on season 1. And like, I hope he's the big bad of season 2. It seems like he will be.
I certainly think he will be. I mean, it was great even just to see Death Troopers again. Those black troopers from Rogue One. I missed them. Say what you will about the Disney era of Star Wars, but they have given us amazing stormtrooper designs.
That is very true. That is very, very true. Yeah. And like, when they listen, people criticize the Disney era a lot, and like, I think that the sequel trilogy maybe was a little, we talked about this in our Rise of Skywalker episode, but I feel like it lacked like a clear sense of direction. This show has a clear sense of identity and direction, like that I hope they bring to whatever next series of films they create. I personally feel like this is partially a breeding ground or a training ground for Dave Filoni to kind of get his live action chops under him, so that hopefully one day he takes over and starts running things in the cinematic live action space for Star Wars. I really hope that's the plan. I really, really do.
I think that would be very wise.
I think that would be very smart. I hope he's like the Feige of the Star Wars side of the house, because I think that would just be such a wise decision, and I would be so excited for it. I
agree. All right, last question. Favorite Baby Yoda moment?
I mean, the sipping the tea is the winner, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mine either comes down to the sipping of the tea or playing with the switches, like turning it and then looking and then turning it again, and then I love that. It's great. It's great physical comedy.
It is
so fun.
One of my favorite moments is when Mando actually like unscrews the knob and hands it back to him, like willingly hands it back to him, like, all right, here, play with your toy.
There you go. Yeah. Don't swallow it, please.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's solid. I love it. Last thing about Mandalorian before we really wrap up: the Darksaber.
Yes,
the Moff Gideon reveal. He's got the Darksaber. I have only watched some of Rebels and some of Clone Wars. That Darksaber showing up, and I've gone, hey, now gonna watch me all the Clone Wars and all of Rebels, just so I feel like I'm involved at a different level now.
Nice.
That is the power of the Mandalorian, I think.
Amen to that. And Clone Wars comes back season 7 next month, February.
Yep, I'm gonna do my best to catch up before then. So I feel like I'm involved in the Star Wars zeitgeist, because I love being in the Star Wars, like the in the midst of Star Wars. I love that. And I'm close. I'm season 4 right now, so I'm pretty close. So we'll see what happens. So jazzed. The Mandalorian is the thing. Jazzed. Didn't think I would be.
So good.
But I'm jazzed.
I didn't expect it to be as good as it was, but I'm so glad it was, and I am very, very excited for season 2.
Exactly. Bring on live action Ahsoka Tano. Okay.
Yeah, man, do it. I'd be there for it.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, Frank, you can find us up here with Geeks on Facebook, Gmail, and Twitter. You can rate and review us on iTunes and find us all other places podcasts can be found. Patreon.com/ThoughtBubbleAudio to donate to all the Thought Bubble Audio shows. And you can find all of the shows at ThoughtBubbleAudio.com. Frank, what do you think about all of that?
I think they should do all of that.
I agree. Every single one of them.
Mm-hmm.
Great. Well then, Frank, until next time.
Cheers. This is the cheers.
I frickin' forgot to say the final thing.
Up, and a cheers.
Up, and a cheers.
Cheers up and away.
Bless you.
Gesundheit.